Here we go. We are on 2012 number 4. This one is pretty straightforward, just work things out. It's almost like it's a multiple choice type questions, but we will do part A. So we just want the derivative of f of x, which they give to us. I'm going to rewrite it. Square roots of 1/2 power. So here's the 1. It's just chain rule where you have box to the 1/2 power. So what is the derivative of box to the 1/2 power? Well, you treat it just like if it was x to the 1/2. So it's a 1/2 box. You subtract 1 from the exponent, so it's negative 1/2 power. Then you have to multiply by the derivative of box, which is minus 2x. If you want to simplify, you can, but that's perfectly fine. If you do simplify, that 2 cancels with that 2. And the negative 1/2 here moves that to the bottom, and a 1/2 power is a square root. And on top, we're left with an x, so that's part A. Part B. You should all know, if you want the equation of any line, automatically you have this. So all we need to find is x1, y1, and the slope, and we have the equation of the line. So how do we find the y value, y1? Well, we find the function evaluated at -3, which is that 25 minus 9, 16, which is 4. So we have x1, y1. Now we need the slope, but we should all know the slope of a tangent line is the derivative. So we need the derivative evaluated at -3, which we found in a previous problem. So we put -3 for x. And we get -3/4. We're pretty much done. I don't know where that negative came from on top. Oh, I do. Wait. X is -3. Oh, I know what's going on here. I forgot that minus sign you see right there. There's a minus here. So there should be a minus in front of that. So that should make that a +3/4. Okay. So plug all that information in and we are finished. And it's minus the -3, so it's going to be a +3. We are done. That's it. All right, part C. So continuity. So I'm going to remind you, our end goal is to prove this. So I'm actually going to write my answer here. I'm assuming it's going to be continuous. If not, I'm going to have to change this. Therefore, G is continuous at x equals 3. And here is what we want to get to, because here's the reason it is continuous. The limit as x approaches -3 from the left of G is the same as the limit as x approaches -3 from the right of G is also equal to the value of G at -3. So we're going to do the work to find these limits and the value of G at these points. So let's do this. So the limit as x approaches -3 from the left. So if you look, To the left of 3, it's f. This is our function we're dealing with. So we want to put our original function f. So a little quick comment here. 25 minus x squared, this is a polynomial function. We know that's continuous. And then the square root function, we know that's continuous. And so this is a composition of functions. We know this is continuous as long as it fits in the domain. We know square root can't be negative, but we don't have to worry about that. When we plug in the 3, we're not going to get negatives underneath that, so that's not an issue. So to find this limit, you just plug in -3, and you get 4. Then we have to get the limit as x approaches -3 from the right. Now, to the right of -3, g is this. So we want to do 7 plus x, and that's going to be 4. And then the last part, we want g of -3. But if you want to be at -3, use this top function, f of x anyways, and we already found that, so we know that's 4. Okay, I probably should have done something here, because what exactly are these limits? So I should tell the grader, I know what I'm doing. The limit as x approaches -3 from the left of g of x is. The limit as x approaches -3 from the right of g of x is that. Okay, so we're done. I have shown that the limit as x approaches -3 from the left is 4. The limit as x approaches -3 from the right, that's also 4. And g of -3 is 4. Well, my mouse just died. I don't know what happened. Hopefully it comes back. Anyways, we've shown all 3 to be equal. Therefore, our conclusion that we have here is valid. Therefore, g is continuous. Why? Because all 3 of these are equal. And that's what we were trying to show. So we're done with part C. Now on to part D. Oh, there, my mouse is back. D. So we want integral from 0 to 5. And I'm going to rewrite the square root again as a 1/2 power. So we don't have a product rule for integration. So we're going to have to rewrite this. We're going to have to do some kind of something special. And that special thing we're going to do is use substitution. So we're going to let u equal the inside of that square root. Your u for u sub is normally the function inside of another function. Just like when we're doing chain rule for derivatives, the function inside the other function is normally what you pick for your u on u substitution. So du is going to be -2x dx. So here's the thing. We want to get this. Now this here is already there. I should use a different color for that then. Let me get rid of that box. Let's make it a pretty green. We want that up here. But we see that we don't have that. So how can we get it? We're missing a -2. So we put a -2 there, and in front, 1 over -2. So basically, we didn't change anything. And now we're ready to move on. So now we have a -1/2 integral. So the part, this green box becomes du, and this red box becomes u. But here is another thing we have to think about. That value and that value, those are values of x. Now we want u, so we need to convert those to u. So let's do that. So when x is 0, u will be 25 minus 0 squared, which is 25. And then when x is 5, u will be 25 minus 5 squared, which is 0. So we're going to integrate from 25 to 0. To take the antiderivative, you do the 1/2, you add 1 to the exponent, and you divide by that. Doing some fancy schmancy math work, you multiply by the reciprocal 3/2. That's 2/3. I believe we get this. Hopefully, I did my work right. Hopefully. Then we apply the fundamental theorem, plug in the 0 first. We plug in the 25. And that's done. You shouldn't simplify that. That is all you need to do. But just to make it pretty, and you again, don't do this on a test. Leave it unsimplified. That final line there, this is your final answer. If you simplified incorrectly, you will lose that point that you just had. But I'm going to simplify this just to make it pretty for you. Square root of 25 is 5. 5 cubed is 125. So it's 125 over 3. We are done. Hopefully you'll have some problems like that on the test you have coming up in May. I'm going to give you some information on that test too. I'll probably make a video explaining some things to you. So that's, yeah, I got some new information on that. So that's it for this problem. Bye.